Now, ahead of this weekend's trade meeting in Switzerland, President Trump made clear that he is not backing down from the tariffs on China. And when asked about exempting items for babies, such as car seats, the president took a firm stance.
I don't know. I'll think about it. I don't know. I really don't. I want to make it nice and simple. I'm not looking to have so many exemptions that nobody knows what's doing. We have to make it very simple, but I'll take a look at it.
Joining me now, Sean Spicer, NewsNation contributor, former Trump White House press secretary. Hello, sir.
Hi, good to see you.
Nice to see you. When you walked into the studio a few minutes ago, I said what's old is new again, right? Because we're talking about tariffs and taxes. You remember the first go-around. The Trump trade team is going to be meeting in Switzerland with the Chinese team this week.
Lovely time of the year.
Lovely time of the year. January 2018 were the first Trump tariffs. There wasn't a trade deal until October 19, 2019. So that was 20-something months, right? What's the expectation, reasonably, Sean, that you see at this time around, given that the negotiations are just starting?
Well, a couple things. One, I think the president and his team have learned a lot from season one.
Okay.
Right? They know what they want to get. They know what to be careful of. I think the Chinese made a lot of promises about buying U.S. goods, particularly agricultural products that didn't necessarily pan out the way that they'd hoped. So I think they're going to be a lot wiser going into this. The second thing is, I do think that there's going to be sort of a deliberative path that Secretary Scott Bessent probably comes out with or announces Sunday night.
Okay.
Right? So he's going to, my guess is that this is about establishing a timeline. I believe that President Trump, President Xi get together. I've always said I think the end of July, there's some kind of meeting in China.
Okay.
I think this
so
is
end
a
of
path.
July, so that's
so I think there's going to be two things. One, a path to set up that framework. Two, something that will allow de-escalation. What does that mean? Well, I mean, as the president said today, I'm glad he's sticking to his guns. Just the idea of paying that admission to talk, no. And I'm glad he's sticking to his guns, remaining firm. But he should get something in return for that, saying, great, this is hurting China. And most people said what he was doing going after China didn't make sense. The Chinese cowered a lot quicker than most people suggested.
I laid out both sides, right? Sort of what's happening here, what's happening
there. They're feeling it, though. And for all these people who said that Xi Jinping was going to hold out a lot longer, I think he caved a lot quicker than people assumed. And I think that there's going to be a path forward. Maybe Sunday night we don't have the entire contours of that, but I do think that we're going to start to see something moving forward.
What about, though, that question today about, like, are you going to help out with baby items? And he's like, no, I don't really. At what point, the point is, though, Sean, at what point does the administration have to say, okay, when do we start to take a look at these things?
And I think the point is, before you go negotiate in Switzerland, you don't start saying where all the carve-outs are. I mean, you don't show everyone your cards before you sit at the table. So he's playing poker, he's getting results, and I think that, like I said, I have decent expectations for what happens this weekend. I think Scott Bessent has proved to be an unbelievably adept negotiator and leader in this. So that's why they're sending in the varsity team here.
So there was we brought up a really bad moment for Scott Bessent yesterday here on the show when he was asked up on the Hill, who pays for tariffs? And it was, no, I
don't see. I think that it was.
You don't think
no, it was that member of Congress was trying to be a jerk to him, and I think he called him out on it, and he was not able to give. That was more, to be honest with you, I think that was more of like a verbal thing than it was an answer. So he was trying to answer the question.
So here was Bessent today up on the Hill. If what we played yesterday, I want to show the other side. I'll get your reaction.
This is the first time we've met. Is that correct?
No, ma'am. We actually met one New Year's Eve in the Bahamas. And I was...
He didn't make an impression.
Why don't I remember that?
Well, you were much better at the electric slide than I was.
All right, so we got it back today, okay?
But here's the point. Number one, you see how, like, the guy knows the answers. He's brilliant. There's no denying that. What he was asked yesterday, the congressman was saying, who pays the tariffs? And he said, well, Congressman, who pays the tariffs depends. Because, again, I've had this situation recently where I ordered something, and the person that I was buying it from said, hey, the shipper has agreed to pick up half of the tariff. So it's not, and he said at the time yesterday, it's not a simple question.
You think he's done a good job on messaging?
Absolutely. I would say he's the best messenger outside of the president and the vice president.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.